They called it Impossible, a stealth open-world game set during the Third Crusade, with an assassin as the protagonist. A story told through a machine that reads your genetic memory to relive the past. 8 million copies in its first month. A franchise that's lasted 18 years. A cultural touchstone that redefined what open world could be. But the game was also considered broken. Buggy AI, repetitive fetch quests, a narrative that cut between the Third Crusade and 2012 so jarringly made some fans dizzy. So, how did a considered flawed game become a legend? The answer isn't just in the physical code, it's also in the architecture. The collective energy channeled through Ubisoft of those time, of the 13th November of 2007. So let's break it open. So we have a design sun here for 5 gates of logic. This is the gate of logic. The nature of seduction in terms of the logic process is the universalizing element of answers. An answer that has universal potential is deeply seductive. This is the network of informants which are projected upon to have answers to the constant doubting of Altaïr, and the constant doubting is the 63 gate, which we'll inquire later about. So there is this quality. Also the Mercury is in the 4.5, which is communication. Mercury as persuasive word, the messages of the assassins, the capacity of Altaïr to formulate answers, the exact narrative voice that seduces the player into the Animus. This is the literal gameplay loop of gathering information and answers. What is the struggle based upon? It's based upon Desert 49.5. It's called organization. Practical provisions for the needs of others in revolutionary time. The capacity to organize the revolution through practical manners. This is the struggle also of Altaïr to reform the order. In general terms, this is the entire philosophy of the game. Every faction is projected upon to have practical ways to reorganize the people. The Assassins, the Templars, the Crusaders, the Saracens. But in times of struggle, the wave of selfishness can take priority. Then we have the Moon 46.3 projection. This is a very particular gate about loving your body and its experiences that it commits through life and its errors. A practical approach to good fortune that maintains the same pattern and attitudes that brought success and does not get sidetracked indulging in further expectations. The determination to treat a projected success as a reality. We see this in the opening scene, where Altaïr fails to address all the potential dangers of trying to steal the hidden piece, projecting that he is about to do as a success, or even when he gets ambushed carelessly in Chapter 7. So what does Altaïr do when he's stripped of his rank? He commits to his technique, well aware of his skill as an assassin. Then we have Vidas 29.2, assessment, persistence, tempted by caution. This is the stealth gameplay. This is the evaluating before action. Altaïr that observes, does not attack. High profile, that chooses the moment to attack. This is the player that has to be persistent to commit, but cautious. Every assassination is a commitment. This is the gate of commitment, the 29. Then we have Mars 20.6, wisdom. This is the gate of existential awareness in the now. This is also the nature of the combat of this game. Extremely responsive, requires absolute awareness in the now of which buttons to play, of course. And this is the nature itself of the movement in this game. Completion which results in the ability to apply understanding. This line does not care about the word. This is also the capacity of Altaïr to eventually understand that the creed is not absolute, but the deciding action must happen contextually in the now. Then we have Jupiter 9.5. Fate. Trust that detailed adherence to will lead to fulfillment. Like the mystery of God, doubt engendered through the perceived illogic of a process. This is the fate in the logical process of the assassins, the mechanical one, the following up through every assassination, even when Altaïr doubts the usefulness of killing Templars, he persists in the same way. Then we have Saturn 29.4. This is very similar, but it's a little bit different. Is the resolution through most direct means, so he commits to this. And the most direct mean is assassination. Then we have Uranus. This one is massive. Second class ticket. The ability to accept and enjoy a subordinate position. The inevitable humiliation that comes with claiming a first class seat with a second class ticket. When Altaïr returns to Al-Mualim in the first chapter, he must accept to be stripped of its ranks. It's not the first among equals, but the one who must listen. This is also a gate of listening. This is the humiliation. Then we have Neptune 49.2, the last resort. A concentration on the organization of power to clearly define authority, often at the expense of higher principles. This is the theoretical aspect of the creed, to not kill innocent, to create the revolution, but not killing innocents, killing them as a last resort, or not, because Altaïr disregards this principle quite often. Then we have Pluto 11.5, this one is also massive, called the philanthropist. This is a gate of philosophy, debative-less nurturing of the disenfranchised to ensure harmony. The philanthropist is about giving away your ideas. This is a gate of projected ideas and peace. Every faction is projected to want peace and to have the means to express it philosophically. Every major character has a complex personal philosophy, which is the core tenet of this game. Now, if we move to personality, we have the Sun 43.3. Expediency. The powerful drive for regeneration that will, when breakthrough is threatened, use any means, mental breakthrough, to align with any force and endure any condemnation to achieve the goal. This is another essence of this game. Everybody is deeply personal trial and error, understanding of personal truth and discovering of it. This is also a gate in Scorpio. So we talk in inheritance, the inheritance of individual vision. It's a gate of vision. The eagle vision, the capacity to see secret individual reality of all assassins. So the capacity to trial and error, the pursuit of truth. Altaïr gets truth wrong many times. This is the core essence. And the struggle to achieve this is individuality, 23.3. The struggle of the insight that wants to be expressed. If you want to get more clarity on this, watch my Freak to Genius video for more detail. Independent expression that by its nature is not detrimental to others. Individual expression that attracts attention but not threat. Altaïr here is the freak. He is the individual that lives outside of the rules of the order. Individual expression that attracts suspect. I know, says Altaïr, but it cannot explain to the others until the end, the very end. This is also the game itself, as expressed its marketing. Uncompromised, filled with errors, but extremely creative and mutative. A lot of sequels on it. He finally also realizes that Mualim is the 10th Templar and says it. So he says to his brothers, it's truth, eventually. Then we have the Mu here, 10.5, the heretic. This is the gate of behavior, individual behavior. Direct and overt challenge to norms. Society creates the heretic out of its own needs and its own projection, referring to any major character breaking the law, human rights, Also AC1, social system that becomes increasingly sensitive to high-profile actions as Altaïr becomes more and more heretic, You can feel this tension when you enter Acre, especially in the poor districts, it does not belong there. Then we have Mercury 28.2, shaking hands with the devil. When the game turns into a struggle, the intuitive acceptance of any alliance in order to win. The allies with the Templars, like Robert de Sable, to form, to stop a greater menace. Shaking hands with the devil to win the war. Also, this is the entire tone of the game. This is the gate of commitment to death. This is the gate of risk. This is the Scorpio, of course. It's the gate of dying, of risking to die. This is the entire tone of the game. The fear of death. Altaïr is always in life for that situation. He projects out, this is the second line, so it projects out the willingness to risk his life. This is the entire aspect of being an assassin. Then we have Venus 18.2, terminal disease. This is the gate of correction, of moral authority. Every faction projecting out the capacity to correct society's authorities. The vigilance and determination to uphold and defend basic and fundamental human rights. The acceptance that there is no potential for correction. So this is the corruption of the order itself. The determination to defend fundamental rights, but the acceptance that some things cannot be corrected. The order is corrupted. Some Templars are now redeemable, but the assassin order itself can be saved from its terminal disease by Altaïr himself, Then we have Mars 39.4, Temperance, the ability to provoke in order to stir the spirit. Provocation. This is Altaïr that provokes the other members of the order to awaken them. To know, also Altaïr being provoked by the other members of the order to awaken himself. The wisdom to know when to provoke and when to withdraw. Also the game mechanic of low and high profile, using provocation, distracting the guards to move past. The eye alert escape of Altaïr after every major assassination follows this mechanic. Now we have Jupiter 26.6, authority. It's the gate of selling and lying, it's in the ego. The natural attainment of influence justified by the correcting of actions. The constitutional monarch stripped of any real power but still the symbol of continuity of authority, This is Al-Mualim as the great master. Authority justified by correct actions, that reveals corrupt. A symbol devoid of any meaning before he betrays the entire brotherhood. His capacity is also his capacity to deceive, manipulate memory, as well as Ubisoft massive sale of 8 million, they did a trailer with perfect color gradient as manipulation in order to convince. Then we have Saturn 40.2. This is the gate, another gate of the ego. This is more about bargains though. Resoluteness. This is also the exact gate as the Sauno we'll explore later. This is being Altaïr that becomes definitively himself as through separation from the bargain of being part of the order. We'll explore this a bit more later. Then we have Uranus. This is massive. This is the Animus 63.4. It's in the head. Memory. The capacity to store and retrieve information. The ability to see patterns in the past through doubt processing. The Animus, the entire narrative structure, the capacity to focus on the game of the aspect of doubt, the atmosphere of mystery. And this game does it to perfection. The aura of mystery is extreme here. Also, it's a fourth line, so Altaïr doubts people he knows, and the doubt is fixed until it's so. Then we have Neptune 49.1, the law of necessity. This is the misuse of influence to insist that necessity can be created out of action. The Alter-Skelter syndrome, to commit act of disorder as proof that disorder exists. The killings that fuel for the need for revolution, as a continual loops of killing that perpetuates the need of revolution. This is the war itself. The Third Crusade, in its purest essence. Note, the 49 gate is a gate of the butcher. It's the gate of ritual, sacrifice of flesh and life for the tribe, the religious tribe. We have 349s here. This is also the theme of religious sacrifice, of initiation, of every killing being a ritual, of the process of collecting the blood feather, of listening to the victim, or the innocent NPCs that Altaïr sacrificed. This is the gate of killing. And it's the most strong gate of this entire chart and the most strong aspect of this entire game. Then we have Pluto 11.6, adaptability. The inner balance to accept transition. This is the gate of peace. The innate awareness that all forms are transitory. The adaptability of the franchise itself from AC1 to AC2, etc. The awareness that all forms are transitory. All peace is transitory. So let me give a little Altaïr mention. Just a very small one. He is born 11 January. So we can safely assume that he's a Capricorn 44/6. The resilience of this man is crazy. 44.6 is all about tribal, the Assassin's Brotherhood, ambition, this is ambition, the gate of ambition, to succeed, but as well the need to look up, since the sixth line is looking for the next gate, which is the 61.1, truth, to look up if the reason of the ambition is true, the ambition that seeks itself, its own truth. Altaïr mentions truth a lot of times. Also, is its arrogant. As an accomplished, ambitious man at the beginning, he's the top of the Brotherhood. I'm not gonna delve deeper. Altaïr is present in other games, so that's for other AC videos if you're interested. His design sun, though, is 28, which, as I said, is the capacity to commit to danger, to risking its own life. His body commits to the risk of death. His body is the assassin. His life is the 28, Scorpio design. So, now on to the juicy part. 40.2 node in design, sun node. This is the sound node. Resoluteness. This is the gate of pacts. We once tribe and denial of such pacts. The power and authority in deliverance to shed forever the qualities which hampered liberation. This is him cutting ties with the old guard, the order being corrupted. Al-Mualim, Robert de Sable, all the other masters, they are corrupted. So he has to break bonds. So what happens in the first section, inquiring into the nodes, because the nodes are the timeline of the game itself, as well as its purpose on a timeline. So the sound nodes are the first part of the game. So we have Epsilon, first domicile. So Altaïr has to reassess his identity at the very beginning of the game as an assassin. He breaks the tenets of the creed. Uranus 22.1 mutative point. Altaïr is stripped of their rank and forced to listen. The essence of the bargain itself being renegotiated is that Altaïr is stripped of its roles. And the result is the second domicile. We have Mercury 4.5. So the result of the first part of the game is that Altaïr learns and discovers practical answers. His capacity learns to investigate instead of being arrogant. And this is the design side, Then on the other side, contemporary, we have 59.4 brotherhood, sisterhood. This is the gate of brotherhood, quite literally. This is a gate of intimacy, in this case not sexual intimacy, but tribal one. So the dropping of barriers to establish universal union. This is the brother of assassins, the brotherhood of the Templars. Malik, my favorite character, that says, we are one. As we share victories, we share losses. In this way, we grow closer. So this is very intimate. And what is this composed of? Altaïr reassesses his identity as a member of the Brotherhood, not in the terms of the pact, but as intimacy with the members himself. So him talking with Malik, his closest friend, which is going to become his closer friends, and the other, and it's a bit arrogant at the beginning when he talks with them. And it's not seen in the best way. Then we have mutative points. So what happens is that we have 63.4 Uranus as a mutative point. Altaïr learns to doubt. Everything's a mystery in this part of the game. He gets said to him that we can never know, only suspect. This is the highest point of the game, the process of doubting, the encroaching sense of mystery. What is the result of the first part of the game? Is the Mercury second domicile of the 28.2. Daring to die for the Brotherhood. Reaffirmed commitment to risk for the Brotherhood. But then we move into something much, much greater. The North Node, the goal of this game. 37.2, this is the gate of family, friendship, communal life. The understanding of the principle of individual responsibility as the foundation for successful cooperation. We all do it, but everybody does its thing. So this is the Brotherhood. Every assassin takes its part. Who does pickpocketing, who does interrogation, eavesdropping, killing, individual responsibility within the community. All the NPCs, The sense of reformed family after Altaïr wins against Mualim and reforms the Brotherhood, That first domicile of Neptune here is 49.1. This is the second part of the game, The killing in this game, The pure bloodshed gets more massive and unnecessary. Despair increases. There's a lot of unnecessary killing sections as this 49 increases. Then we have the mutative point of the 46.3 moon. Altaïr commits to his techniques of an assassin, and its failures are such via trial and erroring, which is also the player experiencing and learning and failing to use the entire mechanics of the game, I mean the literal ones, the short blade, long blade, etc. Then we have the result of the game here, one of the two, which is the Jupiter 9.5 second domicile. The pursuit of the methods of the assassin. Altaïr mastering all the skills of the assassin, which he has right at the beginning, but the player is not aware of how to use them. The concentration to pursue this practical revolution is the result of this game. Then we have the other result, the other side, the more important one, the more massive one, the more evident one. The 55.4, the Gate of Eden, as I love to call it. Assimilation. Establishment of a framework that balances principles with energy and leads inevitably to expansion and prosperity. This is the codex itself. This is the assimilation of the order to a framework that balances energy and principles, all the experiences, the emotions and social energy of the brotherhood itself. The 55.4 is a deeply materialist. This is what everybody's promised. Eden. This is the gate of Eden, infinite pleasure, emotional fulfillment. This is the play, peace of Eden itself, being used progressively more as the game progresses, the second part, and the desire itself for a new, better world of pleasure. So how does this section work? We have Neptune first domicile 49.2 as the other one. This is the second line though. So what happens is that Altaïr grows progressively more conscious of not killing innocents, although he continues to do so, but he grows more regretful. Then we have the mutative points of the 10.5 moon. After the clarity of the first part of the game, heretical behavior is adopted. So, Altaïr skips. There's a section in which he skips to go to Al-Mualim. He goes directly to kill the Sable because he thinks it's more practical. And this is heretical behavior. The result is the Jupiter 26.6, the massive sale of the game itself, as it corrects itself through later versions. Al-Mualim, deception at the end of the game. This is the gate of deception, as to write the codex. Thanks so much if you reached this point. This game was a blast to go through. I played it blind. And now we end with my favorite quote here. On the capacity to balance knowledge and wisdom. To recognize that nothing is true and everything is permitted. The laws arise not from divinity but reason. I understand now that our creed does not command us to be free. It commands us to be wise. So be wise, know what you're doing, don't just learn the facts, also know the context. And have a nice time. See you another time.